We're working on ROG Zephyr today, which turns on and works okay, but basically it's not charging. And all this happened around a previous repair, after a previous repair. And seems like, well, either the battery was being replaced or other part of the system being worked on. This pin, which holds the battery socket, was pushed too roughly, and seems like it ripped off two components from here. So usually we have TVS diodes here, which keeps the clock lines safe from static damage or connection and disconnection of the battery. Just to demonstrate how it looks like. So if you connect this one back, battery, and if we try to turn it on, we are getting a flashing light on the battery, which is the middle one. This indicates that the motherboard is not communicating properly with the battery. And the minute we disconnect the charger, machine switches off, all the battery is connected. If you jump under the microscope, we can see how these two parts are missing. And if we look carefully, this line has been interrupted. So this is where the connector is. And quite often, when companies tries to open the machine and work on it, as they push back this metal pin, they damage that component, or they try to yank and push it back from here and damage it. So yeah, be aware with Asus laptops, most of the lock-in battery connectors looks like this, which is very easy to damage those traces. So these traces, which are damaged, they are clock and data lines for the battery. So if you look into the battery connector, so we have two clock lines. So this comes from here, goes up, and two clock and basically one data and one clock line, but two communication lines. So basically this connection between here and here is interrupted. So we're not getting, motherboard is not communicating properly with the battery, which is attached here. So it's installed over here. Okay, so let's get to it and repair that trace first. And then we will see how we can replace those two diodes. And now we're gonna use 0.1 millimeter copper jumper wire. This is as thick as a human hair. You can imagine how delicate this whole work is. It's almost a surgical level work. Unfortunately, I need two hands for it, and we don't have our new studio set up yet, so we will just do a little short sections of it. Okay, so one side is soldered into the trace which goes towards the battery connector, and now we need to solder the second side of the jumper wire here on this solder joint. Jumper wire is quite clear, how it connects that bit with this bit. Now we can chop the excess from here like this and remove it. There we go. So now we have a connection between that pin all the way to the board itself, from that pin all the way to the board. Okay, unfortunately we don't have this board as a donor, and we cannot wait 2 months for the TVS diodes to arrive from overseas. What we're gonna do is we're gonna use this Elite Book board as a donor, and we will pull the two TVS diodes from there, which will help us save these beautiful Asus. This is what recycling means. Not just throw it away and let somebody process the precious materials from it, which are pretty much useless, but also I forgot my train of thought. Anyway, if you look into the HP's schematics, so we have same TVS diodes here, and we will reuse them, utilize them for our purpose. So looking into the datasheet of these diodes, pretty much same, just the marking is different, but they all are 5-volt reverse protection diodes, which can, so 15 pico, junction resistance, capacitance, 45 picofarads, so pretty much same. I think slightly lower this one, but yeah, it's a reverse protection diode. So let's place them on and test further. Okay, so we soldered the two diodes in place, protection diodes. Let's clean the area. Clean nicely. Awesome. So we tested the line from here till here. It's stable. From here till here, it's connected as well. Alright, let's connect the battery and test. Let's see if we're still gonna get flashing lights. Okay, stable orange. Power on. Come on. There you go. Okay, so we fire it up and it's still not charging. Hopefully it didn't blow the short circuit there, didn't blow the communication lines for the charging controller. So let's measure if we see any communication data through there. Okay, so looking at the multimeter, we're getting lots of chatter on that line. So customer replaced this battery with aftermarket eBay Amazon battery. Could be that the battery also got faulty or damaged. So let's try to reset the battery. Alright, so we resetted the battery. Let's see how stable it's going to be now, the charging. Okay. Battery 46% and charging. Awesome. Alright, let's recap. Basically the situation which we had here is that somebody who was doing a previous repair on this machine knocked off a couple components from the board. So the components which were damaged were these two TVS diodes, but not only that, also a trace has been ripped off. So we have a trace which connects the battery connector to the TVS diodes to this pin. Basically it's an island which then goes somewhere here and communicates with the charging controller through this resistor. You can see trace goes like this. So we had to recreate this trace with a very thin jumper wire all the way from here till here till here. So basically this way. Replace those two those two TVS diodes, which luckily we managed to source from our spare board, which is not exactly the same, but pretty close configuration to the one which we needed. So we went quickly through the data sheet, and both of them are pretty close type of diode. and we restored the functionality back. So 47%, so we went 1% up. We will do 2 cycles of charging and discharging to make sure that it's stable, but we can see it's pulling a proper current. That's it, another successful repair. Thank you guys for watching, and if you need the service, all the information is in the description. If you like this type of content, let us know, and we will start creating more content like this. We are temporarily in our temporary workshop, hopefully for another 2 months, and then we will have a better setup for better videos. But yeah, we open for any feedback, and would be interested to hear what you guys think. 48%, so battery charge is going healthy up. Take care of yourself.